Hey y'all, welcome. It's another episode of Arise and Shine, Stories of Triumph. I am back, and I have a treat for you guys this week. I know you got a little glimpse last week when I shared I am happy to be one of the sponsors, a media sponsor for this upcoming event. I want you to know that the event host extraordinaire, my girl, Adrienne Velazquez, is here today to chat with us in person. So I want to blab all these great things about her, but I'm going to let this video talk to you real quick. And then we're going to bring her on so she can share in person. I'm a little biased, but she's the bomb.com.
Hello, my name is Adrienne Velazquez, and I am the founder and CEO of the 7-Figure Boss.
Sometimes we don't like setting goals because it allows for people to hold us accountable.
Because I had a goal. You know, a lot of times we don't set those goals, and we don't set the goals out of fear of not hitting them. But I'm going to challenge you all to set those goals. And goals are meant to be changed if you don't hit them. But just keep it going. Don't give up.
Hello, sis. Welcome to Arise and Shine. Welcome. I'm super excited to have you.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Good. Because we are going to chat it up. When I just recently said, I think I said to you that every time I have you around and we get to talking, you take me up a notch or two. And, you know, I'm blessed for that because you have to have people like that in your life. You know, your circle is so important. And I'm just honored to have you sitting next to me on the couch, so to speak, so we can talk about some of the great things you're doing, because it's impressive, especially the event that you have coming up. And we're going to talk about that too.
Yes, I'm really excited. I'm also honored. And I just got to tell you, congratulations, Dr. Tonia. I said, because you are doing amazing things. And just even with your show is like a breath of fresh air, you know. So thank you. I'm honored to be here.
I appreciate it. I just, you know, when you get to a certain place in life, you really start to appreciate things more, the important things, you know? And so I know you talk a lot about, I mean, it's one of the platforms you stand on. You are a serial entrepreneur. You're a stylist. You're a coach. You're a mentor. You're a brand ambassador. You wear a lot of hats, but I've gotten to know the girlfriend hat. I love that hat. Right. And that's why I'm honored that you're sitting here, because I know you pour straight, no chaser. And that's why people are drawn to you. Talk about where you get that from. I know we both hail from the same region, but talk about the DNA that has you the way you are.
Amen. You know, just like I shared with you, a lot of times people look at the outside, but they don't know our start. You know, I'm down here in San Antonio, Texas right now, but, you know, I'm originally a Jersey girl, you know, and I just, you know, born and raised North New Jersey. And I watched how my parents, they worked so hard, you know, and they showed us, you know, achieving that American dream. You know, I was sharing with a couple of my employees the other day how my mother used to always have this phrase where she used to tell us, just because you live in the hood doesn't mean that the hood lives in you, you know? So, and my mother always made sure that She pushed us to get out of our surroundings. She placed us in certain things. You know, I'm a tall girl. You know, I'm almost 6 feet. You know,
Come
so
on.
girl,
Five,
so my
almost
mother,
5'9".
girl, strutting it in there. And it's so funny because everybody's like, you walk into a room and you demand the room. I'm like, you know what? You need to tell that to Rosalind, okay? Because I'm like, when we were younger, me and my mother used to make me and my sisters walk around with this book on our head. She would make us sit down with this book on our head because she said one thing that she did not want to ever see us tall Black women hunched over trying to shrink and fit into a room. My mother said, no, you roll those shoulders back, you put those breasts out, and you walk in there with confidence, you know. So
you even sit like that, Adrienne. You even sit, even in the video we just saw. You have one like classic shot and your back is straight up. So she did good. Come on,
yeah,
Rosalind.
but that was all thanks to her. But and it's so crazy because I've watched how, you know, my mother's now deceased, and I watched how, girl, I was existing. I did not start living until my mother passed.
Wow.
So I'm like, I wish my mother could have seen all of this, but I think my mother knew.
Yeah.
You know, but I really wish that she could have seen all of this. I watched how my mother, even though she told us how to act, girl, my mother would shrink when she would go into rooms. And to me, I felt like she was the most brilliant mind. And I really did not see it until we moved to Texas. When we moved to Texas, my mother retired early, and she retired early out of fear. Because she said she felt like she was too old. You know, she was just like, we're in San Antonio. It's not a lot of brown faces. And I watched how my mother lacked the confidence to reinvent herself in San Antonio. And my father was always trying to immerse her into different areas where she would be with commanders and lawyers and doctors. And me and my mother would have this conversation where everybody called it Libraism because we're both Libras. And girl, we would sit there and my mother would say, I just don't, you know, think I'm smart. And I feel like, you know, they're going to be, you know, worrying about the way that I sound. And I watched how I had adapted that. I was like, oh my God. I was like, people gonna listen to this Jersey accent. They're gonna listen to how I'm pronouncing words and, you know, how I may not always have that proper poise. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? Once she passed, I was like, this is not only for me, but this is also for my mother. And I also want to be able to leave that legacy to my kids, you know, because I've adopted 3 out of my 4 children, you know.
Beautiful.
Girl, my daughter who gave me my first grandbaby. So I adopted her at 13 and I adopted my oldest son at 16 and my baby boy at 3 weeks. And I've always wanted to show them that your past does not define your future. You could write it any which way you want to write it. Don't worry about the opinions of others, you know, because sometimes we get so caught up with what people are thinking, what people are saying, and we're not walking in our purpose.
You
know?
And that's so powerful right there, Adrienne. Let's stop there for a second because, you know, you have, first of all, the trauma that we go through losing a parent, you know, that processing all of that and then coming out of it with the epiphanies and the wisdom that, you know, you're right. Your mom knew what she poured into you. She may not have had as much of the dosage herself because she was giving it away to her babies. So you saluting her by doing that and then pouring it into you, that's legacy building.
Amen.
Pouring that into your children. You're breaking curses, you're building legacy in your family. So that's truly powerful, you know? And now you're spilling your cup over to the general public.
Amen.
To say,
Amen.
you know, it's never too late to renew. I'm in a rebuild season right now, you know,
Come on now.
and my tag is reboot, rebuild, reclaim. So I'm on my way, right? If it doesn't take a death to reboot you, but sometimes it does. It doesn't take you losing your job to reboot you, but sometimes it does. It doesn't take depression all the time, but sometimes it does. But you got to recognize what a reboot is. The wake-up call to say, I'm here for a bigger thing than just me. I'm here for my babies. I'm here to change the world and make an impact. I feel like you're doing all of that. And I love that you're transparent enough to say, I wasn't always that way. So when Adrienne talks to you about a mindset shift, Adrienne's been through a mindset shift. Am I right?
Amen. And I'm still going through mindset shifts.
All right.
You know, it's like I shared with you, I think it was last week or the week before last when we were just kicking it. Yeah. And I was sharing with you how I went to that speakers thing.
Yes.
And mentally, I was like, okay, Adrienne, what the heck are you doing? Getting ready to go in here and drop a story that nobody else but your husband has heard.
Yes, courage.
I'm getting ready to put this out. And do you want to, the craziest part about me sharing my story, it wasn't to the 2,000 people that was in the room. It was to that one little boy that was sitting next to me, because I brought my son with me, because I wanted for my son to experience this, because my son has Tourette's and he's on the spectrum for autism. You know, when kids have a tendency to pick with him, but I tell him, baby, the most brilliant things, the brilliant minds that we have out here, those people they have autism. And he loves his iPhone. So I'm always telling him, Steve Jobs, I'm like the iPhone guy. So I'm always sharing that with him. But in that moment when I shared, because I had to let my son know that I was raped, so he would not have a shocker.
Reaction.
Me and him talked on that whole ride to Dallas, because he just could not believe that somebody would violate me, you know. But I told him, I said, I've overcome. But I did not realize that I really did not overcome until I spoke it on that stage and all in front of all of those people, you know, because I said, I did not realize all of these years I had allowed this man to rape my mind over and over and over again.
Girl, that's another show right there.
Girl, it was like he was sucking everything away from me. And even though I made it through all the rounds, like I shared with you, and I didn't make it to the last one, I said, but my golden ticket was when my son looked up at me and he said, Mommy, you did such a good job. And I said, why, thank you. Oh, but girl, he said it again. When he said it the second time, I said, well, man, I must have really did something. But when he said, girl, when he said it again, I was like, okay.
Glory to God.
And then when we got in the car, he said to me, he said, Mom, I wish I could do that. And I said, baby, you can do that.
Yes.
And do you want to hear something funny? So now my son is one of my very first youth clients where I'm teaching him how to become an effective communicator.
Oh, come on.
So I said, so who would have ever thought that God would have taken that and turned it into this? You know,
but there you go, leveling up. It starts at home, right? And and that gave you some juice to see that.
Yes, it did.
In his eyes, you know. And he's leveled up now to I want to do that, Mom, because you inspired him. You know,
Yes.
that's amazing. That's amazing.
Because, and then you think about it, my son, he looks at, you know, like the Google, like he gets to school and it's so funny. He comes back home and he goes, Mom, you're famous. I'm like, boy, what are you talking about? He goes, no, my friends Googled you. You're on Google. So I'm like, oh, okay, if that's what you say. You know, he's like, we're Googling you. But so he sees that side. He sees the glam side of it. He didn't know the beginning. So for me to share my story, he didn't know that it was at a point that I was broken. You know? So when I shared, I think the biggest impact for him was when I said something to him that my mother said to me, because he did not want to return back to school after the bullies were messing with him, doing all of this stuff to him. And when he heard in my story, because I made him my son, I said, you're going to hold your head up high and you're going to go back and march in that school. I said, these kids are not going to dictate and control your future. You are.
That's right.
So when he heard that when I was laying on that hospital bed, my mother said the same thing to me. My mother said, you're going to get up and you're going back to school tomorrow. And in that moment, I thought that my mother was crazy. But as an adult, when I became older, I realized what she did in that moment. Girl, it did so much more than I don't think my mother even realized the magnitude of her telling me, you know what, you're going to hold your head up high and you're going to walk back up in there. And I said, I've watched how through life, I said, you know what? I go through adversities and I'm like, all right, girl, you're going to cry. It's life. It's going to continue to happen. Things are going to continue to show up. But you're going to brush it off. You're going to pull your big girl panties up and you're going to keep on moving. You know?
I know that's right.
And I'm like, whereas though now I'm looking at how we have a society where we allow for people to wallow in it. You know what I'm saying? To stay in that zone, you know, opposed to, you know, helping them, to encourage them to, you know, stretch, you know, come out of that zone.
Get up. Yes, get up. And you know, you drew a visual to me when you were just speaking just now about, you know, what your mom shared with you. And I thought about when Meshach and the crew were thrown, when they were thrown in that oven or whatever, the fire.
That's right.
Right. And your mom threw you in the fire, but guess what? You ain't burned. There's no sign of ash, nothing, because she knew you was coming out. You just had to get in there. It was gonna get hot. You might have got singed a little bit, but you good. And had she not done that, the results of who you are today would be very different, I believe. You know, and we have to be that for each other. You're right. Now it's just everybody's so sensitive, and you know, kit gloves, you can't say nothing to nobody. Even if you come from a place of love, they go flying off the handle. And it's a shame. The EQ level right now is kind of low, you know, and so it's a shame. So it's good to have coaches like you that, again, straight with no chaser, snap out of it, boo. I know when Sarah Jake said, girl, get up. I was so with her because I've sat down, but I've gotten back up.
I love that.
You know, you have to. People think you're going to get up once and then you're going to stay up from that point on. And no, you get sat back down every now and then, but you got to get back up.
That is so true.
You've got to get back up. Like, you're a serial entrepreneur. So you have multiple things going on, multiple businesses. You're striving. You're helping other entrepreneurs build their dream, which is amazing. I think you just opened a new salon, right?
Yes.
You just launched that. So talk to me about the pushing up people. How does Adrienne, how do you do that? How do you push people up? How do you make them, you know, want to? I know how you do it for me, but talk to me about that.
It's honestly, I would probably say it's tapping into mindset, being relatable, you know, sharing with them that, like I shared earlier, life is going to continue to happen, you know, but we cannot allow for life to take us out of the game. You know, I said the biggest things that happened in my life, you know, my mother's death, my dad having a stroke and me now taking care of my dad, you know, my son going through the bullying and the autism, my rape, me being on chemo, you know, bankruptcy, girl, you name it, everything.
Yes.
I've grown through every last one of them, you know, and it's like I share with my employees, I share with the people that I coach. Trust the process.
Yeah.
Trust the process and don't give up, because that is the number one reason why there are so many great ideas that go to the grave, because people give up in the process, you know, or they lack the consistency because they're looking for instant gratification. Like, I did not realize how everything that I started from as a little girl was going to mold and create the person that I am today. Yes. And that's what I share with my son. I share with my employees. I share with my mentees. I'm like, every life challenge is not meant for you. You know, a lot of times we get so cocky and we like, God, why are you doing this to me? And God is using what you are going through to bless somebody else, to help somebody else get through. You know, the only way that we level up and we get out of our current position, I am a firm believer, I can't give my seat up and go to the next level where I want to be a multimillionaire if I'm not trying to teach somebody how to make their 100,000, their 200,000, their 400,000. If I'm not willing to teach them and bring them up, I'm going to currently sit where I'm at, you know, but the minute that you're ready to go back and help somebody else, you'll see that you'll level up. You know, I have one of my newest, well, she's not my newest. Well, I could say she's my newest because she worked for me in the past and she's back with me now. And I love her to death. And she knows that I love sharing this story because I've been working with her, because in my salon, my spa, we're not that typical spa. You know, how a lot of people like to go out and they're like, I want the cream of the crop. I want the best. My thing is, I could teach you the skill set. I cannot teach you to be nice. I cannot teach you to just be great. I can't teach you all those things. You know, it's something that you got to have that coachable personality. So with her, you know, I not only teach, you know, the skill set, but I work a lot on mindset in my salon. And a lot of people find that weird because they're like, it's the skill set that bring you the money. And I'm like, no, any job that you have, skill set is only 20%. And most people don't realize that. 80% is with the mindset. If you got the mindset right with your staff, girl, they're going to bring you the money. They're going to want to work hard. You know, and it's like I've been sharing with her.
They're gonna pour back,
girl, and it's like she's been going through it, and it's like, you know, I had to sit down with her, and I always ask for permission to be honest, and she gave me that permission, and I'm like, when are you gonna stop living the same story?
When are you gonna change the narrative? That's what my coach says. When you gonna change your narrative? When?
It's time for a new one. It's time for you to be able to leave a legacy to your kids. What kind of legacy are you leaving right now if every single time that things get tough, you give up? You know? And she ended up thanking me for that dose of reality. You know, but I'm like, no, you got to pull the bootstraps up and you got to get in the trenches. How are you going to ever teach your kids if you are not willing to do the same? You know, it's like, even with my mother, even though I know that she could have done so many other things. I saw my mother get in the trenches. I saw my mother running to the bus stops. I saw how my parents, girl, we started off poor. My dad was folding newspaper to put it in the bottom of his shoes. Girl had a hole in the bottom of his shoes, but guess what? None of his girls did. His wife didn't, you know. And I watched my family, well, my mother and father, girl, well, they came from rags to riches, okay? And I tell everybody how I came from roaches to riches. You know, I'm like, and I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed.
I know that's right. I know that's right. That's
girl,
reality.
I drove down here in that little, I don't know if you remember that Plymouth Neon.
Oh my God, there was more glass in that thing than I wanted. I
Girl,
remember the
I
Plymouth
drove down here in a Plymouth Neon. And when I look at myself now, living in a 4,000 square foot home, driving around in $100,000 car.
Come on.
An amazing business. Me being able to pay for my father to have health care here at home. He's not in a home. For me to be able to afford for my son to have a tutor, you know, I'm like, I'm living that what I dreamed.
Yes, it's a mindset shift that's taking you to live your dreams.
And
what
walk
I said is, yes, life empowered. You're living a life empowered. And that, to me, is extraordinary. So to be able to have you on and have you share that. And, you know, it's a great caveat. And I know you can only be with me for just a little bit. But I want you really to talk about, because the event that you have coming up, the 7-figure Boss Summit, I just got to get that right. The 7-figure Boss Summit is coming in December. And matter of fact, let me put up some information here, because I know you got to leave me in just a little bit, but tell us about it. Tell us about who's going to be there. Tell us about the event itself.
So the 7-figure Boss Summit, it was something that I had dreamed about. And God had told me to put it together. He told me to do it. And I'm not going to lie, I did not walk out with it right away, because it was fear of me putting this summit together. And God was like, you know what, Adrienne, is so needed. So this summit, the 7-figure Boss Summit, it is an empowerment summit. I got some of the most dynamic speakers flying in from all over the country to speak at this event. And it will not only be empowerment on mindset, but you will be walking away feeling more empowered about your finances, you know, about your health, about, you know, social media, how to brand your business. Another amazing benefit of this is how we're connecting. You're going to be able to walk away with so many different connects out of this event. It's just is unheard of. Also, the fuel of this, where a lot of people don't know, I have partnered with Pathways Adoption Agency, where I personally sponsored 5 young ladies. And it was because I wanted for all of my speakers, even though we have the same message, we all speak to the same thing, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I wanted for these young ladies to be filled. I want for these young ladies, for them to be able to see a picture, how all of us have a story. All of us began somewhere.
Yeah.
And your past don't have to define your future. You can create anything that you want to create. So
say that again, sis.
Yes, you can create anything that you want to create, but it's like, I wanted for these ladies to really, really be able to feel it, to see it, because I know the backstory behind every single speaker that's going to be on my stage. And, you know they got a glam finish, but a lot of people don't know their beginning. You know,
Right.
like I have also Letitia Pearson. She
Mhm.
is off of the OWN network from the Bell
Yeah.
Collective.
Yeah.
Amazing. Her story is phenomenal. And she is all about empowering Black women, building up a community. You know,
Yes.
I'm going to just say it. 2023, baby, is the year of the Black woman. And, you know, it's not to say that my other sisters ain't there, but I'm talking to my sisters.
Mm-hmm.
It's our year.
Yeah.
2022 and 2021 has already revealed to us that we have Black women not only have the most degrees right now, but we are number one in entrepreneurs opening up businesses. But
Come
in order for
on.
us to be able to continue to grow and to continue to develop like this, it takes a community. You
Yes.
know, I know some of us like to think that we could wing it on our, you know, our own, but no, it takes a community. And the way that I set this summit up, I set this summit up to be hybrid because the 8th and the 9th will be virtual
Mm-hmm.
with no charge because I don't want nobody to have no excuses the reason why they can't level up. Nope,
Still,
it's free.
still given.
So
Yes.
you
Mm-hmm.
could jump on there. Ain't no excuse. You know, it ain't no excuse we're free.
Mm-hmm.
But in person, yeah, it's nice too. I would love to see you all out in person in San Antonio. It's on the Riverwalk, so it's gonna be nice. And if y'all know anything about
Mm-hmm.
San Antonio, we pretty much have great weather all year long. So, but it'd be great, and I would love to see
So
y'all out
pretty.
there.
Yes, you folks need to be there. I'm dropping the link in the chat for you so you can go ahead and get registered. It'll come up to this screen. You just click on save my seat. Adrienne, before you leave us, tell me some of the folks that you have keynoting and speaking. You have some
Yes.
extraordinary people in the house.
Girl, so I have my girl coming all the way from Houston, Dr. Shayna Lewis,
Whew.
where she's definitely all about healthcare being that new sexy, okay? Because if we don't take care of ourselves, how
Yes.
you sexy if you ain't taking care of your body, your mind, and all of that? So
All of it.
I love how she's bringing that to the stage. We're also having, like I shared with you guys earlier, Letitia Pearson, who is not only a multimillionaire, but she also has several real estate investments. So she's going to be teaching you, you know, about her Black Girls Brunch, where she's
Amen.
traveling the world, you know, with helping
Amen.
to develop other entrepreneurs. We're also going to have Cynthia Gallardo. Cynthia Gallardo, she is amazing. She is actually our legacy coach. See, she's an
Wow.
amazing attorney. I want to say out of Chicago. She's
Okay.
amazing. But, you
Okay.
know, she teaches you how for you to protect your legacy. You know, I know when my mother, girl, when she passed, there was no will. And we like probate. What is a probate? You
Oh
know?
my.
So
Yeah.
she's teaching us how to get all that stuff together. Then we're having the wonderful, the awesome, Mr. Awesome, Eric Swanson coming in from LA. And
Mhm.
Eric Swanson, not only is he teaching about, you know, leadership, being empowered, also being able to set the foundations for your business. We're also having Sean Fair. Sean Fair is going to be teaching, you know, a lot of you all, you know, if you want to speak, that's your desire to speak. Sean Fair is the number one speakers coach in the world. So he is amazing for that. We also have one of my sales managers, Shay Brown. Shay Brown also will teach you how you could set up your perfect page, and also how to collaborate, how to continue to build your business. Girl, there's so many people, you know,
I
Daphne
know. You
Booker.
blowing my mind.
Girl, that's
Yes.
what I said. And do you see how it's like all of them have like something a little different? And we're also throwing in a little surprise panel. So, and that
Wow.
surprise panel, girl, I'm always trying to do something a little bit different than everybody. You figure I come from the hair world. So I'm all about
Yes.
entertainment and having
Yes.
fun. So I'm like, I don't want no dry panel, y'all. I'm like,
That's
I
right.
want a panel where the audience can actually engage and be a part of this panel. So it's going to be a little bit different, but it's going to be good. And then we're
Oh,
going
that
to have
sounds good.
we're also having Daphne Booker. She's really good too. She's the daycare icon. So,
Oh, okay.
she's going to be teaching women, how to create and build a daycare, a sustainable daycare. And I think
Mm.
Ashley Key.
Oh,
So,
yes. Oh, yes.
yes. So Ashley Key is also another amazing woman that's going to be there, where she's going to be sharing how you can make $100,000 in 90 days by building up a strong staffing agency. And as we can see, this pandemic, it was much needed.
Yeah.
So, and we have a ton of other names, that I have not mentioned, but when I mean it's a fire, everybody keeps on messaging me, telling me about the speaker lineup. They're like, that speaker's lineup is like insane.
Fine. It is.
So I just
It
tell
is.
everybody, grab your pen, your paper, and let's get ready to make it happen.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm
Most
excited.
definitely. You should be. This is extraordinary. You should be very excited. I know I am excited to support you, and Arise and Shine is excited to be a part of what is going to be epic.
Amen.
Epic. So you guys will hear this coming out of my mouth on a regular, that you need to get registered. You'll see it on my page and floating around. So I suggest you hop to it. And Miss Adrienne, I thank you again. I don't know if you have any parting words at all, but if you do, just take a minute, let the people know what's on your heart, and we're gonna wrap up with that, because I want you to have the last word from a legacy builder. Ladies and gentlemen, Adrienne Velazquez, talk to us, sis.
Thank you. Also, you all can follow me on every single social media platform, the 7-Figure Boss, all spelled out. I also have a nice free gift for entrepreneurs if you go to the 7figureboss.com. But most of all, I want for you guys to be able to feel the fear and do it anyway. And always walk out and make $1 million choices. This is Adrienne Velazquez, also known as the 7-Figure Boss. And thank you so much, Dr. Tonia, for allowing for me to be able to share with your wonderful audience.
You are so sweetie. You're so welcome, sweetie. Thank you for the time that you've spent. I know we kind of ran over, so I know you have to go. Just continue to be a blessing to everybody as you are. And I will see you at the summit. And I'll see the rest of you guys next week. And I'll see you at the summit too, because I'm praying that you're in the room. It's going to change your life. But you take care now. Be good. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye, Adrienne. Bye, guys. Be good.